Hi, I'm Amy Schmidt, and I'm here to have an honest conversation with Christopher Hamilton with Willamette Elder Law. I called it an honest conversation because we really want to talk about the nuts and bolts of a lot of the questions that we get asked, not just big promotional statements. And so we've talked about a lot of things. The differences between an attorney versus a specialized elder law attorney. And one of the things that kind of came in there was the term estate planning. Mm-hmm. So I was hoping you could break down for me, what exactly does estate planning mean?
So most people think estate planning means some kind of rich people problem that they don't need to think about. And no. I mean, it is a problem that rich people have, but it's a problem that all of us have. Estate planning is making a plan for what happens to me when I can't speak for myself, and what happens to my stuff when I either can't control it anymore or I've died and I no longer need it. And so that would generally include
So estate planning is not just the stuff, it's also a little bit about you as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, every living, breathing adult over the age of 18 should have an advance directive and a power of attorney in place. And those are estate planning for your person.
And we have already talked about this on another episode, so look for those.
And then, also included under that concept are wills, trusts, and then honestly, some of the conversations you might have with a financial planner or other people managing your money, where we're looking at beneficiary designations or life insurance or other tools to address, what's happening to my stuff and how are the people I care about being taken care of when I can't do that anymore.
So when we say estate planning, you're not thinking of like that estate up on the hill and what's going to happen with that property. You're thinking of like anything that you own as well as yourself if you are in incapacity. That is the estate.
Yes.
Got it.
Even if it is just, my tiny Honda Fit and my cat. That is my estate, And
not that there's anything wrong with the Honda
Fit. Plans need to be made for those.
Okay. So with an estate planning, is that something that's done with an elder law attorney, a general attorney, or a financial planner, or an accountant?
So it depends on exactly what you want to accomplish as to which of those people you're going to get involved. Estate planning should always include either an elder law attorney or an estate planning attorney.
What is the difference between the two of those?
Most elder law attorneys do estate planning.
Okay.
Lots of estate planning attorneys do not do anything that fits under the category of elder law other than estate planning. So they will draft a will and a trust for you, but they won't touch your guardianship, your conservatorship, your Medicaid, sometimes they won't even show up to help you do probate. They're much more specialist or narrowed in specific areas.
But most elder law attorneys do include estate planning.
Correct.
Got it.
And then who else you get involved depends on how much and what kind of stuff you have. So usually, if there's more than it takes to, pay the bills and eat, then we start doing some kind of saving, and we're talking about potentially having a retirement plan or something else that's being managed by a financial planner. And even if, all you have is a tiny stock account that you throw some money at every once in a while, usually the entity you have that through can give you a person to talk to rather than an 800 number. And that makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
And, I would also really recommend looking for registered independent advisors in those spaces rather than, oh yeah, this is the person from my bank, or this is, some random captive person.
Now, what is the difference between involving a financial planner and when or should you involve your CPA or accountant?
Usually you want both involved if you want either involved. And the financial planner is helping you look at the investments you're making and potentially, if they're any good, helping you consider the tax implications of those investments. But they're not a tax expert. They don't know all of the things that may come up and change how you should be dealing with things for tax reasons if we're looking beyond whatever you happen to be investing with them, or we look not at retirement planning or growth planning, but at also estate planning, or how do I deal with this year's income? And so having an accountant to talk to gives you that more specific tax advice on usually everything except estate taxes. Accountants frequently know how to deal with the paperwork for estate taxes, but aren't always great with advice around estate taxes, because that then really bleeds back over into estate planning.
Sure, so everybody's got their specialists, and kind of like earlier, it's like you can have a broad knowledge, but go to the specialist. It's
Right.
like rather than going to the general surgeon, if it's your brain, go to a neurosurgeon.
Yep.
Got it. So with elder law, the money side and the tax implications may not be your specialty, but you at least can help somebody with like the questions to ask, where to start, things to look at.
Right. I can help point towards advisors or give questions for what should we be asking the advisor, what should we be considering with beneficiary designations or other planning. I won't do tax forms, but I can help with questions that we should be asking the accountant. I can help with how do we make a plan to minimize the conversations we'll need to have with the accountant when somebody dies.
How to streamline.
Also how to not get so fixated on one kind of tax that we really shoot ourselves in the foot somewhere else.
Got it.
Because we run into a lot of that where people are so afraid of death taxes, which, is a nice scary thing to call the estate tax. But they're so afraid of that they don't realize that the planning they want to do to avoid a 10 to 16% tax is going to trigger a 20 to 40% tax.
Got it. So estate planning is just like more of a broad term, that deals with like both the person in capacity or their stuff, like when they're gone. And, a good team kind of looking at this would be, start with an elder law attorney, but then you may then need to also involve depending on the amount of stuff, and assets you have, a financial planner and a tax accountant.
And also, if you have a financial planner or a tax accountant already, get them to help you get an estate planning attorney or an elder law attorney involved.
So we can start on either end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Got it.
And having people who will talk to each other and work well together will make your plan function better.
Cool. Well, one thing I know that has come up a lot with estate planning is Medicaid. So Medicaid planning, I'm going to leave that to the next topic.
Yes.
So is there anything else not involving that one, estate planning, that you feel like we didn't hit on?
That really covers that topic of kind
Okay.
of the planners and the accounting involved.
Awesome.
For the estate plan, yeah.
Well, thank you again, Christopher Hamilton.